One of California's most infamous convicted killers wants his death sentence reconsidered. Richard Allen Davis, a name we all know well, was convicted in 1993 of the 1993 kidnapping and murder of Petaluma's 12-year-old Polly Klaas. Today, his lawyers argue that a recent California law invalidates that sentencing enhancement for the prior felony convictions, entitling Davis to a full resentencing. NBC Bears' Jocelyn Moran joins us live in the studio tonight with details. This is very unsettling for Mark Klaas, Polly's father, who has become an advocate for victims' rights.
Right, exactly. You know, it's been 30 years, but this is a case that many here in the Bay Area remember. It's one that caused a lot of fear for families. Tonight, we're talking about this case once again because the convicted killer, Richard Allen Davis, essentially wants his sentence to be reevaluated. Davis did not appear in court today, but Polly Klaas's father was there. And he tells me he feels like his daughter's killing is being thrown in his face once again.
It's a horrific case that rocked the Bay Area. Richard Allen Davis was convicted in 1996 of kidnapping and killing 12-year-old Polly Klaas. She was hosting a slumber party at her mom's Petaluma home with two girlfriends when Davis kidnapped her in 1993. Davis already had a lengthy criminal rap sheet. His conviction led to California's three strikes law. 3 decades later, lawyers representing Davis argue he is entitled to a full resentencing.
This has thrown this crime right back into my face yet again, 30 years later, and it should be done.
Polly's dad, Mark Klaas, was at the Santa Clara County Superior Court today where the hearing took place.
In 1996, when the trial concluded, I stepped in front of the cameras and said, finally, this is over. Yet here I am 30 years later. This guy has gotten every consideration under the law since the day he was arrested.
In the last couple of years, there have been criminal justice reforms having to do with the fact that California prisons are overcrowded. So state politicians have been looking to expunge enhancements that were put on some more minor sentences, like drug sentences. But lawyers representing Davis are hoping to use these fairly recent reforms to their advantage. One of the laws at the center of this is SB 483, introduced by State Senator Ben Allen. In a statement tonight, he says in part, quote, Davis is allowed to make whatever wild legal assertion he wants, but our law was definitely not designed to undo the death sentences of condemned child killers like him, and any attempt to argue otherwise is off base.
I think that the court is going to look very carefully as to whether these guidelines actually apply to Mr. Davis and his death penalty verdict, or whether they should only be used in other sentencing schemes.
And this could also set a precedent for future cases.
Other courts in California are going to look at this case in deciding how they handle these death penalties decisions when they have to go back and do resentencing under the new law.
I think the judge is very good, very thoughtful, and will come to the right decision.
All right, important to note, too, while Davis has been on death row, the death penalty has been put on pause under a moratorium signed by Governor Newsom. Now, in regard to Davis, the judge did not issue a ruling today. The next hearing is scheduled for May 31st. Audrey.
All right, Jocelyn, thank you.